Fatherhood is about sacrifice. But if you're always last on your list, eventually there's nothing left to give. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to balance sacrifice with self care without the guilt. Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. Super excited for you to be tuning into today's show. Coming off a nice, I'd say 9 mile run, actually 7 mile run this morning. Felt great. I had been running some hills today, and it was funny because I think today was one of the quicker times I had ran these hills. So typically on Tuesdays I'll go and I'll run hills, usually 6 miles. Today I wanted to expand it into 7 miles because I hadn't done a 7 mile run or a 10 mile run in a little bit, just from being sick and then being away. So I wanted to go out and do it. And I find that I used to do it on Fridays or Saturdays, but I found now that I'm volunteering with our local ambulance service trying to do it on a Friday, I don't know what the sleep schedule is going to be like, whether I'm getting up at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., whether I'm not getting called in. So I found that doing it today on a Tuesday was definitely a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but knocked it out of the park. So I'm very glad to be done with it today. Something else when it comes to working out is what I've started doing is doing a few miles on the treadmill and then doing more miles outside, whether that's doing just treadmill miles for the day or doing outside. And I find that it's allowed me to increase my speed. I find that I get a little bit more recovery runs. I think when I'm outside, I push myself a little too fast. For me, it's hard to stop. If I'm feeling good and I'm cooking out there, I'm going to keep running as fast as I can to a certain degree. Not like I'm sprinting, but if I'm in a good pace, I'll go out there and do it. Where I'm on the treadmill, I have to run a little bit slower. The heart rate's a little bit lower. So as an example, today, did my workout, did 2 miles on the treadmill, then did 7 miles outside. So 9 miles total for the week. So definitely felt great so far, doing a few treadmill miles and then doing also some miles out there on the road. So been a good week so far. Hopefully can stay healthy, can stay in shape, especially with everything that's been going on. A little bit of chaos in the life, but nothing that I can't handle. So again, super excited to have you tuning into today's show on the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. Now, before I get into today's episode, which is, again, the balance between sacrifice and self-care, as a dad, I have some exciting news to share with you. My wife and I are going to be having our second child, and we found out that we are going to be having another daughter. So in the early stages right now, so praying every night that everything goes well. My wife is due at the end of March, so now we're going to have our second daughter. So for me, it's, again, always just trying to set the example, especially being a two-time girl dad at this point, obviously having one daughter right now, and again, going out there and setting the example, because I find that the way that I treat them is how that I want their potential partner to treat them. And I want to be the one setting the example, not just in fitness, but just in life in general, and how they should be treated and how they should be respected. And I know that that's my responsibility as a father, especially going out there and now raising two daughters in the not so distant future. It's crazy because it's 6 months out and it sounds far, but it's, especially with the holiday season coming up with Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything to be looking forward to over the next couple months here. I know that it'll go by fast, and the next thing you know, we're in January and we're 3 months out at that point. So I know it'll come by fast. So really looking forward to that. Super excited to be a dad to another girl. Whether it's boy or girl, I have no preference, but it is exciting to be another girl dad. So looking forward to that. And going into that topic, I've been reading a book. It's called 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. So it's Sahilbloom, last name. And I haven't gotten through the whole book. It's a looking at it now. It's probably pretty lengthy, maybe 350 pages. Hopefully, I'm right on that. And it goes into, as you'd expect, the 5 types of wealth. And while I've been reading it, it just really makes you think of your priorities and how much time you have on this planet and how you're spending your time, especially when it comes to family and relationships. And for me, it's really thinking about my daughter. And he makes the point in it that I'm basically my daughter's whole world. I'm her best friend. She wants to hang out with me up until the age about 10 or so. So given that number, obviously she's going to still be living at home when she's 10, but at that point, maybe she has friends and other activities going on where she is not, I'm not the center of her whole world. And you start to think about that and you're like, okay, my daughter's 2 years. She's about to be 2 years and 3 months. So simple math, she's about, 2 and 1/4 years old, if you can put it like that. So I think about, okay, like, I don't know the exact math off the top of my head, but we're coming up on the next 3 months after this month, that this will be about 25% of the time I would have already spent with her, being her whole world, being the person that she looks up to, that she wants to come home to, that she wants to play with. And this 25% has gone fast. And you think, okay, there's 75% left. It's how do I want to spend the next 75%? And again, this isn't to say she's gonna be leaving the house or anything like that, but it's like, I enjoy her, being as young as she is. It's awesome. She thinks I'm the best person in the entire world. So it's hard to think about, like, okay, how fast is it gonna go by? And just thinking that we're gonna be having another daughter on the way again, whether it's male or girl or boy, no preference, but it's just like, wow, it definitely goes by fast, and I enjoy it. And I think, like, when it comes to like fitness and workout, and you have these priorities in your life, and it's like, okay, yes, but do I want time to pass me by and my daughter to remember me as someone that worked out too much? I don't want to say worked out too much, but they were a person that prioritized so much working out that I was never there for the family. And it's, again, always trying to find that balance in between of being there and, getting in the time and working out. And that's why I started the podcast, whether to get my own thoughts out, whether to help other people that are going through these similar situations. So again, exciting news, but just a hard realization to think. It's like, wow, it's I wish I could just take her and keep her and and bottle up some of these moments that we have with her. So it's it's tough to think about, her getting up, and I just wanted to stay small for as long as she can be. But with all that said, let's dive into today's episode, which again is the balance between sacrifice and self-care as a dad. So many times in fatherhood, we can make sacrifices as dads, whether that's sleeping or our hobbies or our careers, potentially even our workouts or our social life. But just because we're making these sacrifices doesn't necessarily mean we're losing anything. Yes, it would be nice to golf every Saturday and Sunday during the summer. Maybe take on a better high paying but more, let's say, stressful job. Maybe taking on more working out. Like, if for me it would be doing an Ironman and doing that prep. But for right now in the season that I'm in, it just, the timing doesn't work for what I'm looking to do. But again, I don't look at it as so much of a sacrifice as, like, I'm choosing to be here. I know eventually there'll be a time where I don't really. And I say this like it would be nice to golf every weekend, but I really want to. It's like, is the grass greener on the other side? And same thing with like career flexibility. Maybe I take a little bit less paying job, but to be more flexible. Like, for me, it's very important to obviously drop my daughter off at daycare every day and be home, pretty much 4 out of 5 days a week, not having any meetings scheduled in the afternoon. So I can greet her when she comes in the door. If I had a job that had 20 meetings a week, would I necessarily want that? Or if I was traveling a lot? So just thinking about, like, is this really the sacrifice that I'm making it out to be? And sometimes sacrificing is just important for building trust and being present with my daughter. Where it's like, sometimes I would prefer to go out and do a 20-mile run. But I know if I go do a 20-mile run on a Saturday, odds are I'm going to be shot the whole day. I'm just going to want to lay down, be on the couch, and just honestly just be a vegetable, because that's what you do when you run 20 miles. It's hard to really do anything else the rest of the day because you put so much more into it. And what I don't want you to encounter when it comes to sacrificing is over sacrificing and burning yourself out and having resentment or having health issues. Like, I don't want to think like, oh, I'm not doing this because of my daughter, or I have to get up early because of my daughter, or I'm not going to the gym as much as I have. Like, I don't want to put any of the blame on them. Like, you can make it work with your schedule. It might not be easy. Maybe work out after work, maybe work out before work. Like, for me, it was getting up today and going to the gym, getting my workout in, getting my run in, coming back, dropping our daughter off at daycare, getting my 7 mile run in on top of that. If it was up to me, I prefer to sleep in, go to the gym whenever I want, get my run in whenever I want. But I make the sacrifice in order to spend time with my daughter. For me, it's, yeah, I could always be working, either in my job or on my own business and always trying to generate more money and make more money. But it's like, okay, like what good is the money if I'm not going to be spending any time with my daughter? And obviously you have to make something. It's not like you can just be broke and, everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. But for me, it's like non-negotiable. 5 p.m. comes around, no email notification, nothing. The next 3 hours that my daughter's home with us, I'm going to be fully present with her when I'm cooking dinner. And it's like, you figure out these routines over time. I don't want to digress too far, but like, as an example, my wife, so I typically will cook dinner every night. And my wife will take our daughter out. So it usually takes me 20, 30 minutes to cook dinner. My wife will take my daughter outside and play with her. I'll cook dinner, come inside, have dinner together as a family. My wife will do the dishes, and I take our daughter and I go outside and I play with her, especially as the weather is still nice. And that's like just me and her on our own, like for 30 minutes while my wife's inside cleaning up. I don't think that there's anything more I look forward to than just those 30 minutes of the day. So again, I don't want you to encounter any burnout, have any resentment, and especially the health issues. And I'll get into this in next week's podcast, but I'll give you a sneak peek of it, I should say, is that I don't want you to be so busy that you don't take care of your body and you aren't physically fit, or you aren't, especially mentally fit, which everything that comes with working out and being in shape definitely helps you on the mental aspect of it. So, with that said, I don't want you to think that self-care, or why self-care isn't selfish. And what does self-care mean for you? For me, it's not going to the spa. It's not, I do enjoy a nice massage every now and then just to help with my body, especially after working out and running as much as I do. But like for me, for self-care, it's going on these runs. It's going to the gym in the morning. It's having my nutrition. Maybe it's taking time to recharge, but for me, like, yeah, I'm tired today from going on a 7 mile run. I did a pretty quick pace, which for me was 8:10 a mile. I think that I did the last mile 7:45, and I had negative splits pretty much all the way down, except I think mile 2 to 3 I did 8:17, 8:18, and then it consistently went down. So miles 2 and 3 were about the same amount. So like that's for me, like that's recharging. Like as an example, on Saturday, I spent a good amount of time watching college football. First or second week of college football, really enjoyed watching it and just felt like I just needed time to recharge. Woke up Sunday morning, went on a run in the morning. And I found that just for me, like that's what worked for me. And I just was like, I'm gonna go on a 3 mile run. Obviously, my wife and my daughter are here, so I don't want to be going too far and going too far away. But I still need to do this for myself. And I want you to remember that the connection between your well being and being a better husband and dad comes from the self care. Like, if I never took any time for myself, I don't know, like, if I never went to the gym, if I never ran, and I can tell you when I woke up Saturday, I woke up on Saturday because I wasn't going for a run. Like, I just feel sluggish throughout the day. So I know that for me to operate the best that I can is getting in the gym or getting for a run in the morning. Where, yes, I do enjoy sleeping in 1 to 2 days per week, either Saturday or Sunday. Sometimes going on a run Saturday, just try going for a run Sunday. Definitely enjoy that as well. And I find that my daughter, she's going to benefit when I have healthy self care because I'm going to be an optimal person. I'm going to be a better person. I feel like we all need this, for lack of a better word, like this alone time. Where, at least for me, like my wife and I, we work from home, and then our daughter comes home, and there's a lot going on. Like I need some time on my own, which for me is running, and it's being in the gym. Now, when it comes to finding this balance between sacrifice and self care, there's some strategies that I want to share with you. Maybe it's getting your workouts done early mornings or late in the evenings. For me, as I mentioned before, I prefer or early mornings, and some people may prefer late evenings. Whatever works best for you. Maybe you have micro moments of rest during the day. For me, that's journaling, that's reading my book, that's meditating. And while I only meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, I journal for 5 to 10 minutes, typically read for about half an hour. That's not a long time, but sometimes I might be working and I might just, okay, let's just meditate for 10 minutes. Or, okay, let me write in a journal to get my thoughts down. It's involving my daughter in certain activities. So for me, it's having her see me running and taking her to the races that I do. And it's funny, you can see her cheering, and anytime a runner goes by, we call it a runner. Anytime someone goes running by our house, we have her cheer them on. It was funny the other day. So she says, "Go runner," and then she claps. That's why we call it a runner. And then now she says, "Go biker." So now if there's someone biking by the house, she'll just say, "Go biker," and she'll cheer. Now she also says, "Go walker." So if someone's walking by the house, she'll say, "Go walker," and start cheering for them. So it's fun. It's funny. And so we had an Amazon package delivered the other day, and Amazon guy, he was walking to our door and he was dropping off the package, and there's our daughter out there just saying, "Go walker," and it's literally just the Amazon guy like parked 10 feet from our door, hopping out and dropping off the package. So that was pretty funny. But with that said, it could be having communications with your wife or your husband about needs and expectations. Like when I was training for a triathlon, there was a specific need and expectation I had to share with my wife. Like, I have to train more for this event. Same thing with marathon training. For these 6 weeks of me going into deep marathon training prep, I need your assistance. And then after that, I'm going to be free. I'm not going to be doing this marathon. I'm going to be doing a half marathon for the near future, where I can train on my own in my typical schedule. Like I know if I could run, say today, like 7 miles, good clip. I know I could run 10. If I can run 10, I can definitely run 13. So don't worry about it. I don't worry about it too much, but again, it's just having that open door of communication. Like if I went right now, I signed up for an Ironman, say in March, and I told my wife, "Hey, on top of me working 40 hours a week, I have to get 20 minutes in of additional, running, biking, swimming, and knowing that, okay, our baby's due in March. My wife's probably not going to be feeling too great the further we get. So like once we're in, months 8, going into month 9, 7, 8, and 9, as you get bigger, it gets a little bit more uncomfortable. That wouldn't be great. That wouldn't be good. Same thing if I told her I'm going to be scheduling one in April or May. Like, probably, let's see. So our daughter's due at the end of March. So we have basically April, May, June, July, August. So like, let's say by September, booking a Ironman maybe sometime in the fall. That would be a better idea. So about a year out from now, just given what we'd be having going on with our life. So it'd be like, okay, not that I'm ever gonna stop helping out, but like I'm gonna be busier doing this Ironman that I want to accomplish, but I'm not gonna be an idiot and do it when our daughter is born and take time away and all the chaos that I would imagine is gonna be going from 1 to 2 kids. Now I want you to reflect a little bit. When's the time you neglected self-care, and how has it affected you as a dad? And I can think to times where if I don't take time on my own, I get angry, I get crabby, just not fun to be around, overstimulated definitely. And I find that sometimes I just need to carve out time for myself, which for me is going to the gym and running, but I'm getting up early, but I'm taking care of my self-care so I can still be there for my family. Is there a time where prioritizing self-care has made you more present for your family? For me right now, that's reading the book again that I talked about earlier, which is called The Five Types of Wealth, and realizing the finite amount of time that I have left with my daughter. Like, that was definitely eye-opening, and self-care for me is reading as well, and everything else I mentioned in today's episode. And when it comes to balance, it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be an ongoing adjustment in any season of your life. Obviously, when I was marathon training, when I was training for a triathlon, when I'm right now, I'm just in, I don't want to say cruise mode, but I don't have any races planned on the horizon. I'm just being very consistent. I like the routine that I'm in, just doing the mileage that I'm in, which is 30 miles a week plus 5 strength training workouts. With, I say strength training, so you can do each body part basically twice. So Mondays and Thursdays is back, shoulders, and triceps. Fridays and Tuesdays and Fridays is biceps and chest, and Wednesdays is legs. That's how I do the split right now. So I just keep it very simple. I have the routine down, and I know, like, okay, if I'm going to be training for a marathon again, like, what are the adjustments that I'm going to need to make? So again, it's not perfection, but it's just an ongoing adjustment. And some of the takeaways that I want you to get from today's episode is that sacrifice is part of the job, but it shouldn't cost your identity. Like, if I just stop working out entirely, like, I would probably lose a sense of my identity, which is what I wouldn't want. So I would never want to cut out something that I enjoy, like reading or meditating or journaling. I want to make sure that I'm sacrificing, especially, as a father, but it's not going to cost me my identity. There's small and consistent self-care habits matter more than the big and rare ones. So one might be like take an entire week off for yourself. Sometimes for me, like, I schedule a day off of work for myself on a Friday just to do whatever. My wife's not off. I'll send our daughter to daycare. And I just take the day for myself. Not that I do that often, but I find that that's like a habit I like to do like once a quarter. So once every 3 months or so, just take off a Friday. Just I can go do whatever. And that's something that I like to do for myself. And that's just an example of a smaller habit that I take in rather than a bigger one, which would be taking a week off because I'm going to explode because I haven't had any time to myself and I'm losing my mind. At the end of the day, your kids are going to learn resilience, discipline, and balance by watching you. You're going to be the role model for them. They're going to be the person that they look up to. What is the example that you want to be setting for them? And dads, whether you're a husband, father, wife, or not married at all, but especially for dads out there listening to today's show, I want to encourage you to find your own rhythm between giving as a father and then replenishing yourself as well. And I want you to know that it's normal to struggle with this balance. Sometimes I'm able to do a lot of self-care for myself. Sometimes I'm not able to. And it's an ebb and flow, it's back and forth, it's never easy. But at the end of the day, I remind myself who I'm all doing it for, which is my family. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on the balance between sacrifice and self-care as a dad. I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss why most dads quit fitness.